My friend, let me remind you of a timeless truth. Wealth is already in motion. It does not wait for your labor. It does not need your stress. It flows in abundance, and it seeks those who are open to receive. This world is not held together by banks, deals, or digits on a screen. It is held together by states of consciousness. The only wealth you will ever truly possess is the wealth you become inwardly aware of. Until it is accepted in imagination, it cannot be born into the visible world. Now I say this clearly. You are not here to chase money. You are here to realize that you are the magnetic center through which money must appear. The more you run toward it, the more it eludes you, because your very chase confesses its absence. But the one who sits still in inner knowing, the one who lives from the end, from the conclusion, that one becomes the wealth itself. Massive wealth is not a matter of earning. It is a matter of aligning. What you assume to be true of yourself becomes your atmosphere. And in that atmosphere, things move, things respond, things unfold. So I ask you, are you in receiving mode? Receiving mode is not begging. It is not efforting. It is not straining. It is the sacred state of allowing, of inner stillness, of confidence that says, I already am. When you close your eyes and walk in the richness of your imagination, when you shop in your mind's eye, dine in luxury within your inner world, and bless your every step as one already wealthy, then you are in receiving mode. The universe responds to your inner assumptions, not your outer actions. You may say, but I see no money yet. And I would say, then stop looking with the outer eye and begin looking with the inner eye. For as long as you believe your bank account speaks louder than your imagination, you will remain a servant to the world instead of its master. Listen closely. Wealth is already flowing. There is a great river of abundance that never ceases. But only the open vessel receives. Only the relaxed hand is filled. Only the trusting heart is blessed. You do not need to force the stream. You need only stop resisting it. Do not declare, when will it come? For that is the cry of doubt. Declare instead, it is done. I already have it. And live in that knowing. You must dare to believe that things are moving now, not later. That the right people are on their way. That the opportunities are forming. That the resources are aligning. That your wealth is not coming, it is arriving. And so I urge you, stay in receiving mode. Let go of the struggle. Drop the doubt, accept the unseen riches as already yours. Walk, talk, and breathe as one who no longer waits, but has already received. Wealth is not a pile of money. It is not gold bars in a vault or numbers in a bank account. It is, first and foremost, a frequency of consciousness. And until you tune yourself inwardly to that frequency, all outward striving will be in vain. You do not chase music, you tune into the station. You do not run toward a signal, you simply align your receiver with it. So it is with wealth. It is not running away from you. It is already present, already broadcasting, already vibrating at a level that can be received by the one who understands the principle. Consciousness is the only reality. The desire for wealth is proof that it already exists, but not necessarily in the physical yet. It exists first in the invisible realm, in the world of imagination, thought, and assumption. To possess it outwardly, you must claim it inwardly. You must become the kind of person to whom wealth naturally flows, not through toil, but through alignment. This is why many who work harder do not become richer. They labor in sweat and worry, yet remain in lack. Because work alone, without the proper consciousness, is powerless. You are not rewarded by the world for effort. You are rewarded by the state you dwell in. Now understand this deeply. Every state has its own frequency. Poverty is a frequency. So is fear, so is wealth, so is abundance, elegance, grace, opulence, and you can move between them not with money, not with contacts, not with effort, but with assumption. If you assume, I am wealthy now, and live, speak, and move from that place, then you have already begun to vibrate at the frequency of wealth. That frequency will organize people, events, and resources in accordance with your new inner state. What you see in your outer world must rearrange itself to reflect what you are certain of within. This is not wishful thinking, this is law. You are never attracting what you want. You are always attracting what you are. The world is not responding to your desire. It is responding to your dominant vibration, your habitual self-concept, your state of being. You may ask, but how do I shift into the frequency of wealth when I see only bills and struggle? And I would say, close your outer eyes, for they only report the past. Open your inner eyes and see with imagination. Let the unseen be more real to you than the seen. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Rest in the consciousness that it is already done. And then, let it be. Every time you return to the inner image of wealth, every time you feel its certainty within, you are tuning yourself like a radio dial, and with enough inner attention, you will begin to receive the broadcast. Ideas will come, coincidences will appear, solutions will rise seemingly from nowhere, because you have become a match to the thing itself. Do not make the mistake of thinking wealth is outside of you. There is nothing outside of you until you first accept it within. The entire universe is a mirror reflecting your inner vibration. To change the reflection, you do not reach into the mirror, you change the face you are making. And so I say again, wealth is a frequency, not a fortune. You are not here to chase it, compete for it, or earn it through suffering. You are here to tune to it, align with it, become it. And once you do, you will find that wealth was never far from you, it was never hiding, it was simply waiting for you to believe it was already yours. So go within. Live in the end. Feel yourself already rich. Not someday, but now. And from that inner conviction, all things must come. All things move first in the unseen, before they ever take form in the seen. What you call the outer world is only a reflection, a delayed echo of the inner world you sustain in thought, feeling, and imagination. You may believe wealth begins with opportunity, action, or effort. But I tell you plainly, wealth begins in the mind, in the stillness of your inner being, in the image you dare to hold as true. It is imagined before it is manifested. Everything begins as a seed, and imagination is the soil. You are not here to chase results. You are here to embody causes. The true cause of wealth is never outside you, the job, the client, the sale. They are only effects. The true cause is the inner movement, that unseen shift in self-perception, that quiet, steady conviction that says, it is already done. Imagination is not a child's toy, it is divine power. It is the sacred womb where form is conceived, and it will always bring forth after its kind. Imagine struggle, and you will be met with more of it. Imagine wealth, and it must eventually appear. For nothing can stop the law of consciousness. This is why the one who lives in inner opulence, even while surrounded by outer lack, is far richer than the one who owns gold but imagines poverty, because the first has planted the seed of abundance, and the harvest is only a matter of time, while the second, though surrounded by riches, has already begun to lose them by the impoverished state he carries within. You do not wait for movement on the outside. You create it within, and the outside moves in response. What you sustain in imagination, not as a passing thought, but as a dwelling place, that becomes the world you walk in. Let this be deeply understood. You are not attracting anything to you. You are drawing it through you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And the wealth, the favor, the success, the miracles, all rise up from that secret inner place. You must become still enough to feel it. You must withdraw from the distractions of the world long enough to construct and live in the scene of your fulfilled desire. And you must persist in it, not just for a moment, but until it hardens into fact. Every dollar you receive, every opportunity that appears, every door that opens, it all begins first with movement in imagination. If you will not move inwardly, you cannot move outwardly. Now, this is not fantasy, it is not escape, it is not daydreaming for pleasure. This is the operant power of your awareness. When you imagine with feeling, with conviction, with belief, you set a law in motion that nothing can interrupt. Others may ask, how did you do it? And they may not understand your answer, because it was done not with your hands, but with your inner eye. You saw it before you touched it. You believed it before it made sense. You moved inwardly before anything around you moved at all. So I ask you now, what are you imagining? What scenes are you revisiting each night before you sleep? What moods do you carry when no one is watching? What inner conversations are echoing through your mind? Because these are the architects of your future, not fate, not luck, not effort alone, but what you accept as true within yourself. Wealth is not coming to you, it is coming through you, through the channels of imagination, through the corridors of assumption, through the stillness of inner knowing. You are the vessel, you are the doorway, you are the cause. So go within and move first in the unseen. See yourself as you desire to be, feel it as real. Walk in that image boldly and do not waver. For the moment you move in imagination, the universe begins to rearrange itself around you. Receiving is not something you strive for. It is not earned by effort or deserved through struggle. Receiving is a state of being, a posture of inner openness, a deep and silent knowing that what you desire is already yours. You don't climb your way into receiving mode. You relax into it, you let go, you allow. It is not a reward for work. It is the natural effect of alignment. You align with the end, with a feeling of fulfillment, and suddenly you find that life begins delivering what you once thought you had to chase. This is the great reversal. The more you chase, the more you affirm separation. But the moment you surrender, the moment you say within yourself, it is already done, you slip into that sacred place where all things begin to flow. You stop asking, you stop looking, you stop needing, you simply become. And the moment you become the one who already has, you begin to receive. So most people try to receive from a place of emptiness. They think longing is power. They think wishing is enough. But longing implies distance. Wishing implies lack. And the law of consciousness only gives to you what you accept as already true. So the key is not in striving. The key is in assuming the identity of the one who has already received. You walk, speak, and feel as that version of yourself. You let that state take you over from the inside out. And that state, that inner certainty, draws to you all that matches it. You don't try to get into receiving mode. You drop everything that keeps you out of it, the worry, the doubt, the questions, the timelines. You become quiet. You return to the breath. You feel the soft assurance rise within you. I already am. And that is enough. You see, receiving is not passive, it is powerful. It is the still power of knowing, the kind of power that no longer needs to shout, prove, or grasp. It simply is. The one who receives with ease is the one who no longer doubts their worth, who no longer argues with their reality, who no longer rehearses lack in their inner conversations. They have replaced all that noise with a simple truth. What I desire is already mine. I do not need to force it. I only need to allow it. And so they live in rest, not laziness, not inaction, but the deep, calm rest of a soul aligned with its source. They are open, and that openness is magnetic. It pulls opportunities, people, and resources without strain. It bends reality to match the rhythm of inner confidence. Understand this. When you are in receiving mode, life feels different. You stop negotiating with time. You stop waiting for signs. You stop looking for proof. The feeling within is the proof. You trust the unseen as much or more than what you can touch. The world cannot help but deliver to the one who lives from the state of already having, not as a trick, not as a test, but because that is the law. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. So I ask you now, who are you being? Are you being the one who waits, doubts, questions, and hopes? Or are you being the one who knows, who trusts, who lives as if the thing desired has already unfolded? Because that version of you, the one who already has, is the one who will receive. So become still. Return to yourself. Let go of effort. Let go of the how, the when, the needing, and choose instead to rest in the state of receiving. The receiving mode is always available. It was never withheld. It was only clouded by your trying. And the moment you release your grip, the moment you say, I no longer wait, I receive, you will discover that the universe was already holding it out to you all along. To grab is to confess lack. To reach out frantically for something is to declare, it is not mine. And the law of consciousness, being exact and impartial, reflects that belief perfectly. When you grab, you resist. When you chase, you repel. When you try to get, you affirm that you don't already have. But when you allow, you enter into union with the thing desired. You stop trying to pull it toward you, and instead you accept that it is already yours. You become one with it in imagination. And through that inner union, it begins to unfold effortlessly in the world of form. The world has taught you to grab, to strive, to hustle, to compete, to chase money like it's running from you. But money is not running, you are. You are running with a belief that says, I must earn this, I must work for this, I must prove I deserve it. But none of that is required by the law that governs reality. Wealth is not given to the hardest worker. It is given to the one who most faithfully assumes union with it. Grabbing creates distance, allowing dissolves it. The very act of trying to get something sets you apart from it. You have declared to your deeper self, I am here, the thing I want is there. But the moment you allow, the moment you say within, this is already mine, it is already done, you collapse that distance. You do not magnetize what you need, you magnetize what you are. And your state of being is always your true point of attraction. So the question is never, how can I get that? The real question is, who am I being in relation to it? When you grab, you are being the one who lacks. When you allow, you are being the one who already has. There is a softness in allowing, but it is not weakness. It is divine strength. It is the quiet power of knowing. It is the restfulness of the one who understands. I don't have to force what already belongs to me. I only have to accept it inwardly and remain faithful to that vision. Do you know what this means? It means your only real work is to enter the feeling of already having, to live, think, speak, and walk as if your desire has already been fulfilled. You don't grab, you don't bargain, you don't negotiate with the world. You simply receive what is already yours by divine right. The island of Derby is afloat earthed. Derby summary, the upcoming event 2, allowing is trust. It is intimacy with the unseen. It is the quiet agreement between you and your inner world that says this is real, even if it hasn't shown up yet. That's faith. Not begging, not pleading, but confidence in consciousness. Let others fight and claw and hustle. Let them chase shadows. You will go within. You will assume the state of wealth. You will sit in the knowing that everything is unfolding in divine order, and you will allow it to come. Because in truth, it is not wealth you are waiting for, it is your own permission. The moment you stop grabbing and start allowing, you align yourself with the source of all things. You move from trying to trust, from chasing to choosing. And in that state, that graceful, effortless, powerful state, things begin to come to you, not because you chased them, but because you became them. So stop grabbing. The only thing you're reaching for is already within. Close your eyes. Feel yourself as already rich, already free, already living in the fulfillment of your desire. And then let it come, not by force, not by effort, but by the law of assumption, the law that says what you are inwardly conscious of must become your world. There is a stream of abundance flowing through the unseen, ceaseless, uninterrupted, eternal. It does not pause. It does not delay. It does not favor or withhold. It flows by law. And the only question is, are you standing in its current, or are you turned away from it by belief in lack? This stream is invisible to the physical eye, but it is very real. It is the eternal supply of all things: money, opportunity, health, creativity, love. There is no shortage in this stream, no scarcity, no delay. There is only overflow, always ready to express itself through anyone who opens the inner gate. Most people imagine wealth as something finite, something to be acquired, stored, protected. But true wealth isn't a static thing. It is a flowing state, a living movement, an outpouring of divine substance that knows no limits. It is always available, always near, but it is received through consciousness, not effort. You cannot see this stream with the outer eye, but you feel it. You sense it when you are calm, confident, and inwardly full. You touch it when you say, "Everything I need comes to me with ease. Life supports me completely." In that moment, you have aligned with the current, and the current moves through you. Lack, on the other hand, is not a reality. It is a perception, a mental fog, a belief in separation. Lack is not something that exists in the world. It only exists in consciousness. And whatever you persistently accept as true in consciousness must eventually clothe itself in form. So if you believe in lack, you experience lack, not because it's the truth, but because you have closed yourself off from the stream that never stops flowing. Imagine a river of gold running silently through your life at all times. It is always there, beneath the surface, beneath the noise, beneath the doubt. And all you must do is lower your bucket with faith, with imagination, with the quiet assumption that what I need is already given. You don't force the flow, you don't manipulate the stream, you simply step into it through your inner state. When you feel abundant before the evidence appears, when you act from wholeness before anything changes, when you say thank you before it arrives, you have declared your union with the eternal supply. And the moment you declare union, life begins to mirror that state. This is the quiet secret of the abundant. They don't wait for the stream to show up. They assume it's already here. And by that assumption, they become receivers of all that flows in it. They don't panic over the economy. They don't chase money like it's a vanishing resource. They know that source is within. They know the real supply is not the job, not the client, not the account. Those are only shadows. The real stream is within, and it never dries up. So I ask you now, where is your focus? Is it on what appears to be missing? Or is it on the truth that abundance is already moving, already swirling around you, waiting only for your acceptance? Step into it now, not through effort, but through identity. Be the one who already lives in overflow. Be the one who expects provision. Be the one who feels wealthy before a single dollar arrives. Because that state, that consciousness of abundance, is what aligns you with the current. And once you're in the current, life begins to lift you, ideas flow, people appear, things come together, not by accident, but by law. There is no shortage in the mind of God. There is no lack in the infinite. Only movement, only increase, only supply. And when you dare to claim that truth as your own, you will find that the stream was never far from you. You simply had to remember how to stand in it. You were never meant to make it happen. You were meant to let it happen. That subtle difference between force and flow is everything. When you try to make wealth happen, you interfere with the process. You insert doubt. You place yourself in the role of the doer, the one who must control every detail. And in doing so, you cut yourself off from the higher intelligence already at work behind the scenes. You see, the how is not your responsibility. The when is not your burden. Your only role is to assume the state of the wish fulfilled and remain faithful to it. When you live as though your wealth is real now, not someday, not in theory, but right now, it begins to move. It begins to take shape. The unseen responds to your inner conviction, because the unseen world is governed by your assumption, not by your effort. So you must understand this. The outer world is always following your inner world, not the other way around. So when you live in the feeling that it is done, that it is yours, that nothing is missing, the universe begins to organize itself in perfect precision to reflect your inner knowing. But when you try to force it, to push it, to demand it, you are silently saying it is not yet mine. You are praying from lack instead of praying from fulfillment. And the law, being exact, reflects that lack. To let it happen is not laziness. It is not passivity. It is not avoidance. It is trust. It is surrender to the higher law of consciousness, which says that everything unfolds according to belief, not willpower. So you stop obsessing over the steps. You stop worrying about how it's going to work. You stop trying to engineer every detail. Instead, you drop into the state where it has already worked. You feel the relief of it, the gratitude of it, the joy of having it now, and you rest there. That rest is the most powerful action you will ever take. This is the irony of manifestation. When you stop trying to make it happen, that's when it starts happening. When you stop chasing, it starts arriving. When you stop needing it, it starts needing you. Because you enter the vibration of fulfillment, and fulfillment attracts fulfillment. You don't need to know the path, you only need to know the destination. And the destination must be felt now, not hoped for, not wished for, but claimed, owned, lived internally. And once you dwell in that state, life bends. People show up, opportunities unfold. Money flows not because you made it happen, but because you let go of the resistance that was preventing it. This is the art of conscious creation. Becoming inwardly still while remaining inwardly full. Releasing control without releasing certainty. Trusting in the unseen while celebrating what has not yet appeared. So ask yourself, are you trying to force it, or are you letting it unfold? Are you straining to make it happen, or are you relaxing into the knowing that it already is? Because once you know, once you really know, not just mentally, but emotionally, spiritually, the thing you desire cannot help but appear. It must. It is law. So walk today with quiet certainty. Do not panic. Do not force. Do not beg. Instead, declare within, I don't need to make it happen. I only need to remain in the knowing that it already has. Let that be your foundation. Let that be your atmosphere. Let that be your truth. And watch as everything you once struggled to build begins to build itself through you, with grace, with ease, and with divine timing. Remember, massive wealth is not a distant dream waiting to be chased. It is a powerful current already flowing, inviting you to step in and receive. The true secret lies not in struggle or effort, but in your inner state, your imagination, your assumption, your willingness to relax into the receiving mode and allow abundance to flow through you. Wealth moves first in the unseen, and when you align your consciousness with its frequency, you become a magnet for all that you desire. So stay still, stay open, live as though your dreams have already come true. Trust that the invisible stream of supply never stops, and that the timing and the how are already perfectly orchestrated by the universe. You don't make it happen, you let it happen. And when you do, life responds with effortless abundance. Step into this truth today. Know that you are worthy. Know that you are ready. Know that massive wealth is in motion, and you are now standing in its flow. Thank you for listening. May your journey be filled with ease, grace, and limitless abundance.